If you're an SEO agency owner, then this video is going to be pretty interesting for you. What we did to create this video was aggregated 500 SEO agencies' performance in terms of their growth and churn over the last 10 months. So every month so far in 2025 to determine were they growing or shrinking, and at so what pace. The reason that we wanted to put this video together was because we heard from a lot of agencies that this summer was particularly harder in terms of churn than previous summers that they can remember. So we wanted to look at the data and see if we see the same thing. So what I'm going to do is go through every single calendar month and tell you what the amount of churn was for this aggregate 500 agencies compared to their growth. And we're going to do it in ratio format. So let's take it back to January 2025. January, as you know, is usually a very good month for SEO agencies. Business owners are back from vacation, they're ambitious, they're ready to go, and they want to market their business, which means they're going to hire marketing agencies. So that's why we're seeing one of the highest ratios from growth to churn in the entire calendar in January. But believe it or not, January actually isn't the best month when it comes to agency growth. It's the second best. So what this means is that for every $1 lost from an agency, meaning a client churned, they actually gained 2.4 more, right? So this was a very large up month. Moving into February, we see that there was a bit of buyer's remorse, so the people that held onto their agency through January then actually churned because what we're seeing here is just $1.50 brought in for every dollar that was lost. So January, much higher. February, a little bit of a pullback, which can be expected after you have such a massive gain. And sometimes this happens because if you get an unexpected boom in new clients, you might not have the ability to service them all very well, which means you might have some very quick turnover by people that just aren't happy with the level of service you're giving them, which is why it's important that before you get into January, you have all the right systems in place to scale your agency and take on more clients. Moving along, let's see how March did compared to February. So we're going from 1.5 to 2.2. So March is a pretty good month, meaning for every dollar that you lost in churn, you made $2 additional. Moving along to April, slightly better. So you're on this uptick. But then this year, May actually was surprisingly a bad month. Usually we don't hit our first slowdown until summertime, but May actually was a tough one. There was a lot going on this year geopolitically, with tariffs, with a whole lot of things that made the market go up and down, interest rate speculation. And so I think that's why we saw May be a rougher month than we expected. But on the bright side, June came in very strong. For every $1 lost, an additional 2.34 came in for agencies. So we had another growth, which was nice to see that June, which usually can start to be a little bit weak, actually made up for May's weakness. So instead of being a down month, actually ended up being pretty good. Although we did then see that July ended up being a pretty rough month, and everyone expects it to be harder to get new clients in the summer months because small businesses typically make fewer sales then. Well, it depends on the industry, but a lot will typically make fewer sales in the summer. And their budgets are also smaller and they're taking time off. And so the summer is usually the worst time for agencies consistently. But we saw this July in particular was actually very bad, and it didn't ease up. Actually, August got even worse at $1.38 for every dollar lost. So August just barely squeaked through as a profitable month for most agencies in terms of net new dollars in compared to dollars out. And August took the prize for being the worst performance month financially for agencies so far in 2025. It's currently October 14th, 2025 when I'm recording this. So things can, of course, change and likely will. And by the way, if you find this interesting or have questions, then please like this video, subscribe, and put a comment below to let us know what you think so far and whether your agency is tracking along with these industry numbers. Moving along from August, we have September, and September jumped back up, which is awesome to see after a very brutal summer for agencies. And then here we are, mid-October, and unfortunately, it looks like October is a rough month again for agencies. So again, there's a lot of things that have been going on in the economy and in politics that are making it kind of rocky for business owners to commit to spending money, which is why this year seems to be a little different, because in previous years, October was a positive month, or at least more positive than 138. November is usually a mixture. We can have a very fast growing first 2 weeks in November, and then it slows very much once you hit Thanksgiving, because it also becomes difficult around the holidays. And then some businesses don't want to advertise if they're not going to get into the whole Black Friday game. And then that usually slides into a very bad December for SEO agencies. And so as we get to Q4 and you're thinking, how do I make sure that I don't lose a lot of my clients before the new year, where we're expected to have another boom? You want to think about what are those ways that I can re-engage my clients, that I can check in with them, make sure that they're good, make sure that there's nothing new in their business that I should know about so I can better market it. And this is really the best time, as we get into November, to reconnect with their clients, make sure that you have that strong relationship with them, so that if their budget gets tight near the holidays, when they decide to go and buy extra gifts, which means they have less money to spend on marketing and other business services, that they're less likely to cancel your service, even if you've been doing an amazing job for them. So again, hopefully you found this video helpful. We will do an update for it once this year is over, and hopefully this Q4 is easier than previous years and we can hit 2025 very strong. And if you're looking for a way to revamp your agency and make sure that you can have better relationships with your clients, give them better work, don't miss deadlines or make mistakes, then be sure to check out Paige. I'm going to put a link to the Paige website in the description below, but it is definitely going to be your new favorite tool in 2026. Thanks a lot and good luck.